Welcome to the Business Success Strategies with Adrienne McLean. This is a 30-minute interview with successful business people who have been able to achieve amazing results with growing a business. Business Success Strategies is proudly sponsored by The Speaker's Practice and AdrienneMcLean.com, helping business owners with marketing and promotions with a specialty with public speaking. Enjoy today's Business Success Strategies interview.
Welcome to the Business Success Strategies. Hi, I'm Adrienne McLean. We're thrilled to have Gunnar Habitz join us today. Gunnar Habitz has 20 years ICT experience in sales, marketing and consulting roles, with a technical flavour covering various computing solutions sold to commercial and consumer segments. Originally from Switzerland with a solid experience in the European market, Gunnar moved to Sydney in 2016 and completed a leadership program at the Australian Institute of Management. And now Gunnar offers his skills in the areas of software, services and solutions. Today we're talking about branding, and our topic is branding strategies for growth. Welcome, Gunnar.
Hey, hi Adrienne. Nice to be on the show.
Great to have you with us. Where does marketing and branding fit into your world?
Well, whatever kind of service you're offering to your end customers, it's very important to have the proper marketing. Without this, you will never sell properly. So that is a very important step. So what I've seen across my career in the ICT business at large vendors, usually addressing small, medium business, in my role from consulting to marketing to sales and sales management, you need to have a very holistic, integrated approach to show that you have a certain personal branding and the company branding, which the customers do understand well.
Great. Okay. Well, let's get started with our questions for today. When looking at branding a business or a product, what are the essential steps that need to be put in place?
When it comes to branding, this is of course not only what you believe yourself, what your value proposition is, but it's all about the perception. And that should be very consistent. So it should be clear, what are you known for and what people are seeking out you for. They can say Adrienne is good because she helps business owners in regards to speaking, in regards to various other things that you do around that. But you need to build this kind of brand. You need to align a certain image that you would like your target audience to have out of you. So that is very well to understand that this is about perception in the first place, not only pure as design, but many people believe branding is just a kind of a design story. So when you take it into a certain essential steps, how to get that done, I would say you need to check and start what the market really needs. And that might be different from what you have to offer at the moment. You might need to go into a certain direction because the market is moving. You need to define your own solution, your offering, and you need to become kind of authority to have the image in external perception of your target audience. And then, of course, when you have clearance, you know what you would like to have and to achieve, but you're coming from whatever kind of offering you already have. To strengthen this, to make it very clear, you need to apply rules for the visuals, for the optical element, that you have very consistent way how your website looks, how your front office looks, how your paper looks. Everything should have a clear, consistent message that goes around. And that is often very hard to achieve because many small business companies are coming from the original value proposition, which can be more technical, but not necessarily marketing oriented. So therefore they need help from professionals to do this. And to be known for this kind of area, and it doesn't matter if it's a hairdresser, if it's a plumber, if it's a consultant, if it's a mortgage broker, you need to ensure that you go out and get your message out. And what helps very often these days also is to publish content so that potential customers who don't know you have the chance to see you. So they need to align to go where the target audience hangs out. So focus groups, meetup groups, wherever, and play this consistent message around your core offering. Important to have consistency along the track. because otherwise you try to be everywhere and that will never work. And connect with the relevant communities, and all over you need to be genuine in what you're offering.
It's very important what you're saying about perception and how the brand's actually perceived in the marketplace.
Indeed, because whatever you believe on yourself, your target audience might have a completely different way in understanding. In particular, as the market are changing, and the buyer today is a very well-informed buyer, so then he will not longer compare with what he might know from others. He will look out for those who are maybe applying more what really is needed. In particular, in areas like consulting and professional services, you need to react into where the target audience has their issues today.
Well, let's move on to our next question. Why does changing a brand help with sales growth?
So, of course, this is something that does not happen overnight. You cannot believe you put a new rebranding and everything is working well. Immediately you get sales. That doesn't happen. So you need to rather help to transform the message, transform everything to be very clear on what you are about. And this clarity is a process. This starts with a very own analysis to find out where you are. This can happen on a personal way. It can happen on the company way. But be very clear. And when you have done that and you follow steps along the way, then you catch up also with topics like the change in the demographic, change of where your customers are, to change also who else is offering something from a competitive standpoint. So you like to stand out and have a different kind of offering, different not only to what you have done in the past, but rather to try to find out what is your spot, what is your niche market where you are very good at. When you focus on this one and try to get the message out and be very clear, convince customers, convince people around the way, get referrals on this, then indeed it helps to drive more sales in a very consistent, very good way.
Yeah. What you're saying about clarity is something that can be quite hard to establish, especially if it's a new business.
Yeah, indeed. You need to find out what is the niche that you are really going after. So, for example, if you are a mortgage broker in an area like in Sydney, where there are plenty of them, you need to find out what is the area that you can cover different from all of the others, so that your end customer has a chance to find out who you are, what you have to offer. Maybe it's a different geographical area or different demographics that you go after, maybe a different kind of age group that you are targeting, and then you have the chance to make this happening and try to compare yourself to others. But the only thing how it works, to have a very consistent alignment in what you're offering, get this message out, and get it out into the mind of those target audience. So you need to reach them. So you need to play the full way of getting up to online marketing, SEO, all of these typical terms. They need to be, because you need to find out where the customers are and be relevant to them.
So what are your recommendations to a business who are looking for massive change?
So if you like to have really massive change, and assuming you are not changing your offering drastically, so let's say you are a consultant who offers business coaching. Of course, you can tweak a little bit around and find out if there's some kind of financial service that you would like to add on. You can do some kind of other areas that you can put into. Be clear on the message that you have, but then when it comes to this massive change, you normally look first in yourself to look at the gap. What is the gap between the perception that others have and your own understanding? That can be very often first quite shocking. You need to do this. You need to drive with some of potential test users, half of your existing audience, those that you know quite well, where you can say, hey, we will go in a different direction to make tests of this, and half out of external audience that you don't know. And drive a kind of a change in your total branding strategy. Apply this as a kind of a test user, of a demo, as a kind of a trial, and record on the way how does this change will result in a different kind of readiness from the target audience to have interest in your services, and then make this happen. So it can be shocking. And one important way of this one, how to reach out, is also to go into blogging. So as I give you an example, I have been working in my job together with an with a call center agency. I would never ever have found them if this gentleman would not have a very clever article about that is my experience after doing 300,000 of cold calls. So then really all of this experience can be shown there. So that was a very well perceived way for me. So then I had the chance to meet the gentleman and find out what this company McLean Prospecting is about. Otherwise, I would have never ever found them. Yeah. So that is an important thing, not only to drive the whole messaging, but test it, go out where the people are, and then get some kind of results and get the clarification. You can do other things as well. Very often, SMB companies are struggling with how to do this. So there might be a kind of professional help. Yes. And there are a lot of possibilities around, particularly here in Australia, because the GDP is based on small, medium enterprises, not on very large global companies. So then many companies need this kind of a change. And there is help. There are companies, small companies who really are specialized on this branding, like Susan Jones of Living Lines Branding Agency. Or if you go further, a worldwide level in the US, you would take even courses for not a lot of money, from Dory Clark. She's a very good personal branding course, which is only $99. Really go and look what you can do with this, and then you can drive into a massive change.
Because it can be quite hard for people that are working in the business, especially the business owner who's grown the business to where it is, to step outside and have a look in at what's going on and perhaps what needs to be done for business development.
But it is very much needed because the time is changing. Give you another example. So I'm in the IT business, selling services, usually via partners to small and medium enterprises. So then these partners have been transitioning from resellers, where 20 years ago they sold a server and every 4 years would replace these servers or PCs. But they are moving from a reseller, selling something and then waiting, into a managed service provider who fully take care of the IT infrastructure, the small, medium companies. So then this kind of transition, I've seen with one company here in the western part of Sydney, how it really helped them at the end, this shift to grow into more business. But it meant he had to fully realign the complete company. All of KPIs are different now because it moves more into a kind of a monthly recurring revenue coming out of servicing the customer along the way where they are, instead of just selling infrastructure. So these transitions are happening. So along this, you need to align this also with your personal branding so that then the companies are found for them.
What are the signs of a successful brand? What do we look for?
So for me, one of the key elements here is the perceived value in the view of the target audience. So when you don't get your own message through that the audience sees it in the same way, then your target customer might not come to you for what you want. Yeah. That is something that it takes first quite a step to make that happen. But when you have that and your target audience will rely and see you for what you offer, and that is in alignment, it doesn't mean it stays. It's a consistent approach that you need to ensure and to validate so that your customers are coming again. And the most happy customer is the one that refers you to other customers. So then it needs to be ensured that this kind of alignment continues. You need to have also a very consistent design when it comes to everything optical. And with optical, I do not mean to have a nice font and nice colors, but you really need to ensure you use emotions, not your own, but from your target customer, so that you catch them where they are. Because the customer might not buy from you just a product or just a service, but usually a transformation. You are buying something that transforms you. Of course, it's easier when you're a hairdresser because they have all those drawings that you need yourself. But on the other side, usually it is about a business outcome, a transformation that you take your customer from one step A to step B, and that needs to be part of that one, so that you need to prove you're able to make that happen. On the way there, be unique, be genuine. Don't try to be like a large company when you are not. Try with a success, try with the value proposition that you have and with the unique selling points, and actually rather don't treat it as a kind of a sales process, but more from a buying point of view, because it is at the end the customer who buys, and he doesn't care on your sales process of this one. And you need to show a certain visible passion for what you're doing, because that very much drives you. And this passion can be even quirky, in a certain way different from others, but when that comes through and it aligns with the audience, then you're well done.
I really like the way you talk about it's from the client's point of view, not from the business point of view. I think business owners can get really stuck in the business and not be seeing it from the way that the buyer actually sees it.
Yeah, that indeed is true. It's a very important one. In particular, when you're working at a large vendor who's offering worldwide, you might believe that is how the world is because you offer it to everywhere, but reality is completely different.
Yeah.
It also is a learning along the career, whatever kind of company you are. And it's a beauty when you go from a very large company where I've been to a smaller one that you can realize that's not the reality.
Yeah.
There you talk to the customer for right there and every day door to door.
Yeah.
Adding here in particular on Apple, one interesting thing. When you have an international strategy and you say, this is how our product should look like, that's what the target audience is, Apple makes something completely different than others. If you would like to buy a computer these days, Apple tells you that is how the MacBook is, and it fits for everybody. While other vendors, and I've been in Vendorland quite long, would say, let's segment the market. Let's find out here are the people who are more mobile. Here are the people who need more everyday computing. Here are these who need more this. You try to niche down to have 20 different kind of platform offerings. While Apple says, no, it's just the MacBook. That works for everybody. So then it's kind of a different mix of trying to relate to the audience from a branding point of view, make you feel want to be a part of that.
Yes.
But still take it as generic as possible. Instead of drilling it too much down, of course, you personalize by the colors.
Yeah.
It's an interesting approach how to align that, but Apple is quite good, of course, in making this happen, that it aligns with the brand, and because there's also a certain why behind that.
Yeah. Yeah. So what do you think is the why with Apple?
Oh, it started, of course, off in times when there was still Steve Jobs, and who really had a completely different kind of thinking how technology should be used in day-to-day life. That was very much driving him and was driving Apple at that side to have this vision and to also publish this kind of vision and create products along the way that is really aligning to this, that in the meantime people really would like to have and they want to have and they're happy to be there. Create an ecosystem of everything around that, and that's very hard for people to leave out of this ecosystem. So I enjoy it myself.
Yeah. Gunnar, I ask all our guests this question. What's a strategy that has really helped you with growing a business?
So when I take it from our company, I'm working at Cloud Recover. That is a Sydney-based cloud hosting provider covering the South Pacific, so Australia and New Zealand. And this is a company founded in 1999, cloud natives in 2006, and very much has been grown from a technical standpoint. So then our managing director drives the technical solutions. And of course, over time, it looked like there's a good authority and it's genuine, but it needed a kind of a refresh from an optical standpoint, so that then everything, like all marketing materials, should look a little bit more fresh. So then in 2015, what has been done, a completely rebranding strategy that the brand comes much more fresh around that, to align with the change of where the target audience is. It's not longer a customer who's taking care of only one piece, which basically is our value proposition to work on online backup and disaster recovery, but rather to drive for the channel. So we had to engage together with channel partners, those that I mentioned earlier, which are transitioning from selling hardware into managed service providers. But in order to catch them, we need to do a lot of rebranding to ensure that the value proposition is coming out. And in particular, when in the IT sales world, where you have end customers and you have resellers in between, the large vendors rarely provide good material for the end customer and a different one for the partner. So then that was part of this rebranding strategy, to find out how can we convince the partners in between what's in it for them. That is a main question to be answered. And then to create for them branded materials that helps them to win their end customers. So you need to find out which other levels where to put proper messaging on it, be consistent on it. And then we also realized when we added more and more services on it, then you lose the clarity, you lose the focus. So you need to ensure it's a kind of a transformation point of view. To a new customer, I would not provide a list with all potential offering that we have, but rather find out where they are.
Yeah.
But that starts in asking also the customers and ensure you have certain branding strategy in place for this one.
Yeah.
We have regular checkpoints to find out if the branded material of this that we have is still consistent, it's still relevant. So that all happened on the way. And then, of course, we get leads incoming from the internet, which would never ever come inside if we did not have created all of these modern terms like search engine optimization and to put campaigns on in social media.
Yeah.
Today it's all coming together because wherever the customer are, we need to ensure that they can find us.
They can find him. Yeah. Oh, that's fantastic. So would you like to tell us a bit about yourself and some of the projects that you have on the go at the moment?
Yeah, happy to do so. So, and then, as you mentioned earlier, so I'm from Switzerland. I've been working with a large IT vendor, with HP, for 16 years, coming from a consultant point of view for storage solutions up to a regional sales manager. And after this one, I thought it has been the question in the middle of the career to do a massive change. And there it comes again into personal branding. Do I want to do the same my whole life over and over again in the same territory? And I thought let's try to get out and find out a different place and go back into a learning period. So therefore I attended the Advanced Diploma of Leadership and Management in Sydney, and I enjoy very much Australia as a place to work and to live. Mm-hmm. And as such, it helped me to put also kind of personal branding on it, because when I came to Australia last year, I didn't know anybody. So I had to basically to go out and tell my story, what I wanted to do, where I am. So that included even a little bit of personal branding elements. I had the business card with a photo, as my name is not so common out of Sweden. So what can I do? Yeah. And to make that happen and go into this way of building a strong network. Yeah. This is not just a number of followers on Twitter or the contacts you have on LinkedIn, but rather to engage with them and find out. And actually, I even found earlier a job for somebody else in my network than for myself.
Wow, very good.
and also when it comes to another topic on the branding as well, I'm also a book author. So I published 15 books in German language. Wow. And try to build over the years an image and a kind of reputation with publisher in this particular niche. It was tour guide books. To ensure that whenever there are new books to be written, that they might consider myself, because I try to put services on it along the way to correct other authors' books, to be very precise when it comes to research of tour guide books. Yeah. And then I have the chance to write some, but it needs consistency along the way. And then I got these possibilities and published at the end 15 books.
Wow. Well, maybe that's another topic for another day, Gunnar. We'll have a talk about how to publish a book.
Yeah, that is a different one, which today you can do in a completely different way than the traditional print route.
Yeah. So, well, thank you so much for your time today. It's been really interesting to hear about your approach to branding and building business development, and you've given us some real gems of information here today. So, thank you.
Thank you as well for the opportunity.
Okay.